everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie. For those who don't know me, reviewing Married at First Sight, season 15, episode 11. Before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the after party. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't find it. I can't find it online, and I was supposed to stay up late to watch it, but it just comes on too late. 10:30? No. Anyways, we're going to start where they left off in the episode, which was the little disagreement that Alexis and Justin had. Basically, they both don't understand why things kicked off when they didn't have to. He thought he was being a doting husband by asking her what the issue was. She thought she was being respectful to his feelings, basically saying, I'm going to table it because really I have nothing to say that would be constructive in this moment. Personally, I side with Alexis. Yes, she did have something to say, but it's better to protect what you got going home than to make a scene in a situation that really doesn't have to involve you if you don't want it to. So I'm with her on this one. Moving on, the couples meet up in two separate apartments, right? And basically the Morgan and Binh situation is a topic of conversation. I'm with the guys. The guys are like, why? What's the problem?
The fact that you're gonna talk to your friends about your experience, that's normal, dude. Like, if she can't deal with that, that's her.
It's always been about you, Binh, this entire time. The reason why you lied to me the first time was to save face for you.
You wanna go over Nate and Stasia's? I'll come with you guys.
For the life of her, Morgan cannot share unless I missed it, because quite frankly, when I see Morgan and Binh, I kind of check out. But she cannot explain what was so egregious that came out of Binh's mouth, because until we know exactly what was said, I just feel like you're blowing it out of proportion or you're looking for issues. And obviously, if you look hard enough, you will always find them. So I don't quite understand. And I was kind of annoyed with the women enabling her behavior. I felt like this was a producer-led moment. But I was like, really? Y'all are really feeding into this right now? Nate did, however, call Morgan out. And I was like, okay, Nate.
He broke my trust the first time on the honeymoon. And it also bothered me that he was so big about lying.
Lying about what?
What's a lie?
Yeah.
Telling Justin essentially everything about our marriage and then coming to my face and saying I'd never tell them anything.
What's up with the hostility? You know, all I'm seeing is just Morgan hella pissed off all the time.
Like I said, if you look for problems hard and long enough, you are going to find them, even with somebody who is stellar of a partner, right? So yes, the first week, Binh was absolutely whack. We can all agree. He did not have to go and share Morgan's personal information with somebody else. However, he's in this process that only a select handful of people understand. Is he not allowed to confide in other people about what he's going through? And if what he's going through is his truth, whether he shared it with somebody in the experience or not, I feel like she would have been upset regardless. Now, the first situation, he was saying things about Morgan. All right. Now, he's kind of just venting about their relationship as I understand it. So I'm just like, Morgan, hang it up. During the visit with Dr. Pepper, she calls Binh out on not allowing Morgan the chance, the space, the opportunity to rectify the issues in their relationship.
What you did was exclude her the possibility of knowing what you were really feeling and thinking and taking it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Clearly in this relationship, Binh has a lot of anxiety. You know, it's the finances, it's the tumultuous family relationship that she comes from. Like, he has all these things. And unfortunately, instead of trying to resolve things with her, he takes it outside of their marriage. And really that is detrimental to your marriage. We can agree. But I felt like these last few weeks, he had made a lot of strides, and it's Morgan who's holding them back, to be honest. They, along with the rest of the couples, have been tasked to write to their younger child. Morgan didn't really do the process right, but we'll get to that in a minute. Dr. Pepper is now talking to Stacia and Nate, and Stacia shares that she's a person who tends to approach relationships hard and fast, and Dr. Pepper says you cannot expect yourself in others.
You didn't marry you.
I could be very concise and just very, very matter of fact.
I think what everybody needs is active listening.
Right.
Unfortunately for Nate, he was doing too much appeasing in the beginning of their relationship, too much yes-manning, too much reneging on statements that we knew his first statement was the true statement, but in order to keep the peace, he would just agree with whatever Stacia said. So now that he's standing firm, she's kind of like, whoa, like what's happening? But it's good. Now he's able to voice his opinion a little bit more. And even Dr. Pepper is like, when you're going through things, when you're feeling different emotions, when your stance on things change, clue her in so that she knows where you stand. They've also consummated the marriage. So we've officially lost Stacia. Kristen breaks down about trying to be the perfect wife, which in turn has led her to suppress her true self.
He has been vocal about you not feeling it. I was trying to overcompensate. I really, really wanted to make him happy. I am just done with walking on eggshells.
Kristen is another one who was just appeasing her partner, doing whatever it was to keep the peace, which to a degree, yes. But if it means dying to self all the time, especially when it's only you doing that, then no, it's not good for a healthy relationship. And clearly she's experiencing some burnout because she's working overtime for somebody who barely clocks in to begin with. For Mitch, he does commend her on her strength and bravery because he acknowledges that his history has led him to operate out of fear in this relationship. So hopefully the tides turn for them after this conversation. Man, Justin learned that Maya, his dog, Mia? The dog is spending 25 to life, okay? The long and short of it, I'm not even gonna add a clip because he was crying again. I'm so sorry. Is that she was at the training camp and the trainer was like, she's still attacking people. I think she's just gonna have to stay at the farm. You know, it is what it is. They rehashed the argument that they had over dinner and they called a truce at the dinner and also are talking about different things that led them to, what was it? Like start fresh, yeah.
The easiest way for me to not hurt anymore is to forgive.
You know, I felt alone. It gave me a reality check as to how that makes her feel.
Sensitivity is equated to vulnerability to me, and that's not a place that I like to dwell. And there's just some things where you don't let people see you sweat.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Ooh, Alexis, I feel you, girl, because, vulnerability, especially when you accept it, is ghetto. Because when you learn how cathartic expressing emotions are and crying, and maybe this is why Justin cries pretty frequently, like it's like you can't stop it. Like for me, once I truly embraced being vulnerable with people, allowing people in, letting my walls down, it was like, here I am, take all of me. And like, it's the ghetto. It is the ghetto, all right? With her, though, in relationships, you cannot withhold emotions or not want to be vulnerable in fear that the other person is going to have the upper hand on you. If you feel like that's the dynamic in your relationship, maybe you're not in a secure relationship, or those are conversations you need to have with the person to clarify, is that your intention for being vulnerable, or you know what I mean? And I don't think that's the case with Justin. I don't think he uses her vulnerability against her. It would be more so her using his against him. So, yeah. Lindy shares that she has a lot of insecurities in regards to her wifely abilities.
I'm still learning how to not be defensive. I'm insecure. I'm not comfortable in the kitchen. It's just like, how do I be a wife and how do I do it right?
Have you guys told each other you love each other?
No, not yet.
At this point in the episode, I was looking at Dr. Pepper like, seriously, you're going to ask them about love? Love? Do you know who Miguel is? Miguel is on a 3-month trial period, and if you don't make the cut, you're cut. But then as the episode keeps going, they have a conversation where they say, I love you.
You're gonna find a total babe that you're gonna fall madly in love with. I love you.
Oh, I love you too.
Okay. So moving on to the memory lane portion of the episode, I'm going to go couple by couple. Kristen and Mitch are first. And Kristen shares that her parents used to really force her to be perfect, more so her mom, and it kind of robbed her of her childhood.
No room for error, and not only on the softball field, but also with my grades.
You chose to be a badass woman of real estate.
Honestly, I regret it. Looking back, I do wish I had a little bit more time to be a kid.
Me as a kid, there was a large margin for error. I didn't have a lot of structure.
It does not surprise me at all that Mitch basically had no rules growing up. You can tell this man has been, it's like not even coddled is the word. He's just been allowed to roam free with no consequences whatsoever, and it's led him to be who he is. And later on, he also shares that a part of his rebel nature stems from first experiencing his parents' divorce and then experiencing his father's passing.
So growing up, I didn't have discipline. I didn't have respect. That's when I started being frustrated, and that would turn to anger.
Now, this actually has nothing to do with them and everything to do with me, right? I remember when I used to talk about the different things I was learning in school. I studied psychology, and people would be like, not everything stems back to your childhood, blah, 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 blah. True, not everything stems back to your childhood, but a hell of a lot does. A hell of a lot does. And seeing how lenient his parents were when he was young, and how now he just expects the world to conform to him because that's the only world he's grown up in, it makes sense. And I wish we had this little bit of a peek behind the curtain of him earlier, so even Kristen would know, okay, that's why he's a little bit of a diva sometimes, and maybe I need to assert myself more to just show him, listen, there's two people in this situation. You're not always going to get your way, and you do need to challenge yourself and do things that typically you wouldn't want to do or make you feel uncomfortable. But, you know, people tend to not want to dive into their childhood a bit to examine how they are, who they are. So this was a great exercise for a handful of these couples this week. With Justin and Alexis, Justin shares that his brother was the primary caregiver for him at 19. I think he was 19, and then Justin was 13. And basically, his style of parenting was just figure it out.
Well, when I asked for help, my brother would be like, figure it out. That was his go-to, figure it out. It trained my mind to get everything right.
Do you think that's why you're so hard on yourself when you don't get things right?
Oh, hell yeah, I know for a fact that's why I'm so hard on myself.
So when you mix the brother, obviously being young, he did corporal punishment, so like spankings and all that, and then had the notion of, listen, I'm not going to walk you through things. You're just going to have to figure it out. It explains why Justin has this fear of, I need to make sure I get things correct. Again, stemming back to your childhood. Okay. So yeah, I understand more so now where he comes from. But then I'm also like annoyed with the experts on why they don't have like proper therapy set up for these people before they get into marriages, because a lot of the stuff that they went through in the beginning, they didn't have to if he just unpacked that before he got married. Next is Stacia and Nate, and they both share how basically they were awkward kids in school, and she was like, oh my gosh, I love the vulnerability. I've never seen this side of you. Like, she really like pressed this. And I'm like, girl, if you would just be a little bit more like easygoing when it came with him, like you would probably know all these things that he's now sharing however many weeks into the process. But that's neither here nor there. Because she couldn't, well, I don't know if this was because, but I feel like because she couldn't get more out of Nate regarding his mom, she asked his dad,
how did you do it? How are you able to get through this?
People used to get teared up now.
Oh no.
Can
I use your shirt?
So it was easy for me. It was easy.
That's the first time I've seen you cry. Ever. Yeah, why are you crying?
Because he got choked up. Oh, sorry, babe.
I'm confused about Nate's dad. Because I swear in the beginning, Nate said his dad was very strict, having a military background and all that. But then now his dad wasn't strict at all, and he basically could do whatever he wanted as a kid. And then he also said his dad was super emotionless growing up. And yes, he could have, you know, become more in touch with his emotions as he got older, but he seemed very forthright with opening up and being vulnerable. Like, I don't know. I'm confused. Anyways, moving on from that. Stacia shares that when she was younger, her hustler mentality was also making purses. Nate was selling fraudulent purses, but she was making her own purses. So they have that in common. And we get to meet her emancipated family.
Yeah, my mom and dad bought a house out in the IE.
And I turned to her and I said, she can live at our house for the rest of the year.
Let me tell you, if a white woman came to my mother and told her, your child is going to stay with me, let's just say it wouldn't have ended the same way it ended for Stacia. Lindy is next, Lindy and Miguel, and she shares how hard it was growing up in a strict SDA household.
Have you ever seen your parents dance?
No, I've never seen my parents dance, and I've never seen my parents drink. Never eaten pork in front of me.
Are you allowed to eat shellfish?
No seafood. You are out of a toxic home situation. You're exactly where you need to be.
My upbringing, as you guys know, was also SDA, but not nearly as strict as hers was. I mean, like, I went to parties, like even ones that my parents were at as well. Definitely no drinking, definitely no shellfish, like she's saying. The pork as well was like absolutely not. Shout out to Leviticus 11. So I resonate with coming from such a restricting household to wanting to break away from that so badly. Kudos to these two. They had a breakthrough. I mean, they love each other now, allegedly. Miguel is now future focused. He's talking about our future family. I can't wait for us to have kids together. I said, oh, okay. Last but not least, we have Morgan and Binh. And as you know, they were tasked to write letters to the younger selves or from the younger selves, whatever perspective you want to take it from, right? So Morgan doesn't do the exercise, but only after Binh does his.
Do you want to go first?
To my younger self, I know how disheartening it is to never feel like you're quite good enough, but I promise you are.
I'm just not comfortable reading to you my letter. Just don't feel comfortable, like, giving you anything personal or deep anymore.
I cannot stand this woman. I cannot stand her. Like, she says she forgives Binh, but then holds things over his head. And then she says she's gonna engage into tasks, and then just at the drop of a hat is like, nope, don't want to do it anymore. Oh, she's insufferable. She is insufferable. I hope that one that got away still has his door open for her, because she's coming back, okay? As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's all I have for you guys today. Tune in for the live with me and Chloe, potentially on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, tentative. We'll let you know if things change. And yeah, I'll see you there.